we want to talk about industries that you're both in and how you see the world. And who wants to start?
Okay, I can start. Hi, I'm Anna Haskell. So my background is hedge funds, and I left the hedge fund industry about 10 years ago. And my first lab was actually energy, oil and gas. I am still a very avid energy investor, and think their private equity guy was talking about huge returns on capital. Agree. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think it's a good sector to be in right now. But at the same time, kind of looking at where are other opportunities and being opportunistic. I see two interesting areas, niches. The first one is kind of something that I got into about 10 or 11 months ago, which is secondaries. And it's a very simple thesis. So the tech world, obviously was hugely overvalued and flew very high, flew down. Now there is some actually value opportunities, looking from Meta to some of the other companies, they're actually trading at reasonable multiples, but also the companies that didn't make it, the companies that never went public. There's currently, they raised private rounds at 50 billion. Now, recently, they've been raising, 1 billion if they're lucky. So huge discounts on the recent raises. And in addition, on top of that, there are some early employees who want to sell out, who want to exit. And so that's a discount to the recent raise, the companies that recently recapitalized, that never made it to the public markets. Now, there are some of them that can scale very nicely, specifically in the B2B sector and the payment sector. These are, nice companies that are growing, still growing. Now, not profitably, but hopefully they will learn their lesson. So there's a discount on the discount. So that's interesting. And the other sector that I'm in right now is digital audio. Let's call it digital audio. Some people call it the podcast sector. And what I'm doing there is I'm investing with a team of techies. I'm also CEO of the company, and it's a $10 billion industry, still very small. Some of the energy, charts over there. $10 billion was in 2004. So podcasting is 10 billion now. It's growing at about 30%, 35% per year. And that's everything. That's content creation, technology, platforms, social media. So what we're building, we are essentially digitizing radio, and we are cataloging interviews in the audio space. Every person who's ever given an audio interview, podcast interview, is on our platform with their portfolios. And that's both. That's content, that's marketing, personal branding, and it's a growing sector. The company that I run is called Padverb, that I invested into. I'm a co-founder, and that's something that I'm doing right now. I think that's a big opportunity.
You're excited about it because it's
yes, and I think it's kind of the little brother or the little sister of the video streaming. Really, Apple Podcasts has been there 15 years. Nothing happened. Like, it's just a very, very sleepy industry. There have been some exits, not very large. And so we're hoping we can scale this and make something happen here. So
So
these
you-
are my
so-
two
So you
opportunities.
touched on secondaries.
Yeah.
And I think it's another theme that is more in vogue again is deep tech. So you wear a couple of those hats, Andreas. Talk about deep tech if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, sure. Happy to do so. Is that working? Just give me one second. Yeah.
This is definitely.
Thank you. First, you put it in. Yeah. Was switched off, sorry. Yeah, but maybe for some of you, it's a little bit repetitive because I explained already yesterday briefly what we are doing. So I'm representing the Landa Group, an Israeli high-tech group / family office. So indeed, I have several hats also on my hat. But talking about your emerging markets, emerging companies, I would like to talk now to more on what we are doing as a technology group. And the group has been set up in 2002 when Benny Lander, here the founder, made an exit. He had sold Indigo, his digital printing company, IPO'd at NASDAQ, and sold that for a significant amount of money to HP. And with that, he fulfilled his long life dream. So simply developing focus on deep tech and technology. And interestingly enough, the first project was an energy project. He wanted to convert thermal energy into electric current. And that project, because of a purely technology focused approach, then led to other projects. He needed nanotechnology to do some things. And that led again to, and this story I would like to share with you a little bit more extensively. Led to the development of nano inks, and that led to the development of a new printing technology that really can disrupt the printing technology that is currently being used for 90–70% of everything that is being printed, which is analog printing. And the reason for that is, and it's, I mean, everybody of you here is using laserjet printers, inkjet printers, and maybe you think when you hear printing industry, oh, it's boring, it's books, newspapers, and stuff like that. But actually publishing and printing is only now, I think, 15 to maximum 20% of the industry. The rest is pretty evenly divided between so-called commercial printing and packaging. And packaging is growing 6% per annum on a long-term basis because of several mega trends, including emerging market, rising middle classes, trends to smaller packaging. Also online here shopping leads to an increase in packaging because that's then the only thing that you really get in touch with the product. Why there is no existing technology that is really digital in that field is because no technology is fast enough, has the quality, has the standard format, which is so-called B1 format. That's 1 meter times 70 centimeters. That's the industry standard, especially in packaging. And speed is an issue. And last but not least, especially in packaging, this is why you can't use direct inkjet. You have to be able to print on any substrate. You cannot print on coated paper when you print your photos at home on an inkjet printer. I mean, it looks dull because all the water is in the substrate. And the trick that we have invented is we print first on a blanket, and then we glue the picture to the substrate, and thereby the water is already out of the picture, and we can print on any substrate. We can print any format. We can print the speed, and so we are going to disrupt now 30 billion industry. And this is also maybe an interesting connection point to the earlier session of early and late VC. We're working on that technology now for 20 years. And if you really count it back to the very early start, and for 10 years, when you pick the starting date, when it had been carved out of Landa Labs, our accelerator incubator research center. And at that time, I wasn't the first external, representing the first external investor. So I was still on the other side at that time. I was running a corporate venture fund. Benny Lander had reached out the traditional approach. Investment bankers called up all the venture funds and a couple of corporate VCs, and one of them was me. And in the end, we came both to the conclusion that venture capital is not the right thing for him. Because of exactly the model and all the deficiencies that we had heard here in the earlier session. Because deep tech technology means complex technology. It takes longer. It always takes longer than you expect. Because you only know what the next problem is when you have solved the first problem. And because when I talk of a printer means 18 meters, printing press, 30 tons in total, including the sheet transfer system. It's more software code than in a fighter jet because you have all the different subsegments, subsystems.
Let me try to dumb it down
Yep.
for a kid from Ohio. How much did you invest to create this technology so far? I know it's been 10 plus years. You're going after this $30 billion industry. So just think of the long-term business case.
Yeah. In over the now 8 years that we've over the 10 years when happened since it had been really carved out. At first, it was fully funded by equity from the founder. Then here. Altana, that's the name of the company I was working for at the time, came in, and together then with the family office that is the owner of Altana, and another family office that has invested now earlier this year, we all together we had invested close to $900 million.
900 million.
So a significant amount of money, which is the second point why venture capital it's a VC type risk.
So what's the enterprise value that you think you're going to create with this 900 million?
Yeah, we have not disclosed the valuation of the last round, but the one of the previous one was 1.8 billion. That was the 2018 round, and the last round was not a down round. That I can say.
So we've pushed everything back 15 minutes. You're obviously going to be in the deep tech breakout. I'm going to assume, and you'll be in the sort of maybe the media Web3 along with Paula. The others, let's just get people to raise their hand. So energy, you know who's going to be at the energy. That'll be wherever they are. Ag, food, and beverage consumer. Who's going to be in that one? Marcia, who else? William Dahl. Ag, food, beverage. Consumer. You got the cars?
FinTech.
Okay, FinTech, that's true. The FinTech is divided out of the digital assets. So it's basically everything but Web3 and digital assets. And then what else do we have? I think that's it. FinTech, oh, healthcare. So next door is healthcare, health tech, biotech, FinTech, the other room. And you can see where the other numbers are. So when we're done with this, we have one last round, which is to go and talk about philanthropy and next gen. And we'll have two quick panels.
Come join our 361 firm community of investors and thought leaders. We have a lot of events created by the community as we collaborate on investments and philanthropic interests. Join us.